Guys, welcome back. DCT, episode 2. Coming back at you. We're a little delayed tonight. We decided to go ahead and watch the episode before we did this one. It was kind of a little bit of a social gathering when we were watching it, so it was a little bit awkward. We couldn't really shoot, so we decided to go ahead and do it afterwards. And what a great episode.
Amazing episode.
Amazing.
It was a very good episode.
We are going to talk about that coming up here in a bit. Right now, we're going to focus on the drink of the week. And go ahead and take it away, DJ.
I mean, you already know what it is. I mean, it ain't nothing too crazy. Screwdrivers, vodka, orange juice of your choice.
Basically it. Half and half.
However drunk you want to get for the night.
Or I can throw the rabbit drink up here, 007.
Yeah, the rabbit drink of the week, the 007. Yeah, I mean, you already know what it is. I mean, shit. Yeah, this is one of the drinks you grew up with as a child from 15 on when you got started.
Only it was a lot girlier than a rabbit drink of the week. I know we're kind of relapsing on our old drinks, but really these are the drinks we favor, so we're just going to go keep on revolving.
Cheapest, and I mean, they get you the most twisted, so, that's what it is. It's all about cost efficiency in today's community.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get some new drinks up and going.
Yeah. I think it's time to try some stuff we ain't tried before. You know what I mean?
Maybe get some Incredible Hulk on the show.
Oh goodness!
Why is DCT hulking out?
If we get hulked out, we'll be glued to our couches doing DCT like this. There's no leaning up.
All right, so let's get into our first segment. The one segment that I've been wanting to talk about all summer, and I know you have as well. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about the movie. You guys have both read the books. Is World War Z. By Max Brooks.
Yeah. World War Z,
okay,
baby.
I know all about the movie.
Yeah.
I know that Brad Pitt, his own production company, has actually been working on that for maybe about like 2 or 3 years before it finally came out. They literally just like see a script, scrap it. Until Max Brooks actually said that he was like, that works.
Yeah,
it works. I mean, you gotta go with the Robert Kirkman thing. It's like, I've already done the book. I want to see it live action. Why not make it a little minor details? But you
they weren't minor details.
But you had to scrunch it up in an hour and a half. Was it an hour?
They
weren't
5
minutes.
The changes weren't minor at all. Don't you think, Steve?
Oh no!
Oh yeah, I forgot our introductions.
Fast is a major change.
Yeah, but we're gonna get into all that. I mean,
I forgot our introductions. As always, Rabbit right here.
DJ Chocolate Thunder coming at you.
Golden Ghost.
As you can see, we're already toasted because of The Walking Dead.
Yeah. We had to do the Walking Dead thing, but mainly.
Back to World War Z.
Yeah, back to World War Z. The movie mainly it's just Brad Pitt. Zombie apocalypse, I guess he was a worker for the government, at some time.
Yeah, he was kind of like the resolver in a way.
Yeah, something like that.
Reporter.
Yeah, which if you think
he was a reporter.
Yeah, if you think reporter, which is the main character in the book, which is but you get totally different accounts. But basically, zombie Brad just goes around the world and
in the book.
Yeah, no, in the movie.
Oh, in the movie, it's...
He's just trying to figure out what it is. They're just trying to figure out what it is, kind of thing. And it's like, the frontal assault kind of thing. Like,
basically, in the movie, it was more of like, oh yeah, you're part of the government. We need you.
Yeah.
So you better get to this roof building. Spoiler alert.
They're basically telling him like, hey, you better figure out what this is and why it's happening.
Otherwise, we're gonna kick you the fuck off.
Yeah,
this boat.
yeah.
Spoiler
it's
alert.
like, yeah. It is basically kind of that. I mean, the things I really liked about the movie is like, it was the first zombie movie we had in a while.
True.
Since the Resident Evils. And I don't consider Resident Evils after Nemesis, after fucking the one with Nemesis is in it. I don't consider them zombie movies anymore.
Exactly.
They're more like mutant movies,
mutant dramas.
Yeah, I mean, the first one that's came out for a while, and I think the thing that we all really liked about it is just the massive scale of zombies they put on it. There were so many fucking zombies.
Right.
Of course, it was CGI because there was so many zombies, but there was so many fucking zombies. I think that was pretty cool.
It's well deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved. But as far as the movie goes, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it really brought back. I mean, especially since The Walking Dead was in absence,
Yeah.
it really brought back that little genre again. I know that genre is blown up. Don't even get started on Warm Bodies. I mean, we already talked about that, and that one fucking ruined it. And actually, me and Steve watched a movie today, VHS 2, and they had a little zombie segment in there, and I was like, oh, this could be worth something to talk about on DZT, but I'm going to go ahead and stop right there.
One of those. Huh?
It was horrible.
It made you laugh though.
Yeah, because it was exactly like Warm Bodies, only B movie. Zombie got feeling, shot himself in the head.
Wow.
Spoiler alert!
I mean, and one of the things about World War Z is like it was actually PG-13.
That one was that was the kicker right there.
At all. I didn't like how it was
You didn't-
PG-13.
But it was. I mean, I agree with you full on. But even though it was PG-13, it was still like kind of violent. Like
Yeah, kind of like you get to see the initial blow, but that's it. Like
you never
that's
got
it.
the crowbar scene was the best. Spoiler alert. God, this is gonna be a spoiler alert kind of thing. The crowbar scene was pretty much like the coolest scene out of that whole fucking zombie. Well, I take that back. That's one of them. And also the fact that the zombies also ran really fast and did fucking breakdancing moves the whole movie. That was kind of funny.
And not to mention the fact that the fucking zombie falls down from like 50 stories or whatever it is, lands on the car, gets up and starts chasing people. It's not going to happen because the human body's not going to withstand that. I don't care what kind of virus you have in your system. It's not going to happen.
That was like a supernatural demon possession.
Yeah, it was. They went a little bit different in it. I mean, I guess he wanted to make it more terrifying, but zombie survivalists. Let's just go ahead and reassure you, it's probably not going to be like that.
No, rigor mortis is going to set in.
Yeah.
And the muscles are going to tighten.
Yeah, so I mean, they might come after you. There might be a shitload of zombies, but they're not going to be, running like they're fucking Chris Johnson running a fucking 4.240. They're not going to be running fucking fast as fuck.
Was that football reference?
Yeah, it was
that was a football reference.
CJ2K. CJ2K. I mean, they're not going to be fast as shit, but, I guess I could kind of understand why they did it. Like, they wanted to put a new twist on the usual slow zombie thing. Like, they wanted to put a twist on it, but I think they could have found a better balance.
I mean, what are you going to cry? The movie is only an hour and 45 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
And there are, yeah.
I mean, you're only most movies now are 2 hours, and you're cramming that all in.
I do really like how they started it off quick.
Yeah,
like as soon as you sat, like I went to the theater, and as soon as you sit in the theaters, it's like the zombies already starting. Like, and I really like that part of it because a lot of them ease into it, kind of thing, or it's really predictable. Like this one just. It was the preview that we all saw when we was waiting for it to come out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In the city, yeah. So,
I mean, the way that he handled himself as well, like, was very, very strategic and smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can tell that guy was
military training, man.
Military, yeah.
I mean, so is there anything else that like you want to point out about like that so far that you've seen? I know you ain't finished it.
Yeah, you haven't finished it. Oh shit! Spoiler. Spoiling the shit out of this movie.
We talked about it already. We already spoiled it for
Pretty much read about the whole movie before I even saw it from both of you guys.
Yeah. What can we do? We're loudmouths.
I got nothing really.
Well, I mean, for what you've seen so far, what would you rate it? 1 to 10.
7.
7 so far.
Yeah, see,
What about you?
I was generous. Usually, when I read a book before I watch a movie that comes out, like usually, everybody knows the movie usually ruins it. But I still gave it a 7, which is pretty generous if I think about it. It's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't never seen it before, you're probably like, "Oh, it's awesome, 8.5, 9, 7."
I'm gonna give it a 10.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like in Shark Tank. No, the fucking stupid ass show. No, I'm pretty much gonna agree with you guys about the 7. I mean, it was really well made. It was rushed a little bit, even though it took him 2 years. And did you know that Brad Pitt actually asked George Clooney for help on it because they ran out of funds when they were making it.
Yeah.
That is a true
True story.
piece. I read it in a magazine when I was working at Dollar General. But okay, how about this one? I haven't read the book, but compare the book to the movie. I see the grin. I see the grin on both. I think that little
the book-
horseshoe nose piercing kind of went up a little bit when he was like, eh.
The book is probably why it got a 7, like instead of something higher. Because, I mean, but the thing about, if you've ever read the book, the thing about the book, I think you would totally agree with me. We talked about it earlier today. It's like, awesome zombie story, boring politics. Awesome zombie story, boring politics. Awesome zombie story, bore. It just goes on.
It's
yeah.
bores you to death almost for a whole chapter.
I say, like, if I would have grade, like, the book is like, I believe it's like I give it like 60-40 as far as 60 being politics, 40 being zombie stories.
Yeah.
That's probably the book. So
Well,
I mean, it's something. It's interesting, but it's one of them books where like it's no dialogue, like because your main character is a reporter, and he's just and it's basically you just reading down what he's reported, like as far as what the government's been doing, him writing it down. Like you're basically reading the book while he's writing like what's been going on with the government and explaining it out. So there's no dialogue in between there. So at times it can be a bit dry. Really dry, but the zombie stories that you get to are worth it. There's so many fucking amazing zombie stories in that book. Like the Japanese one, the one about the fucking Chinese people who had to decide whether to betray their own country and steal the fucking submarine to get away from the apocalypse, or stay there and die for their country like the rest of the Chinese people did. They chose a smart way. They were like, survive, betray our country. But then after that, you realize in this book, oh shit, the Chinese army is coming after us in submarines. Like, not even worried about the zombies. They're like, hey, you fucked up. You stole this submarine from your country. Like, we're gonna go find
Dishonor you! Dishonor your submarine!
And they really did. Like, they really did. Like, in the book, it was like, was it 24, 23 years in? Something like that by the end of the book? Something like that?
Yeah.
Like, into when the zombie apocalypse happened. So, from, like, the beginning of the book to the end, like, there's a long length of time they went through. Like, they've been fighting the zombies for, like, you grow up in school and you read it, like, it was in the history books. Like, the zombie attack was in the history books for their children's in school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that movie Fido. That kind of thing going on.
It was like 23, 24, something like up in there, like mid-20s, like about the end of it. That's how many years have passed since this shit has been going on.
Yeah. John Lennon turned into a zombie.
And it was still going on. And the thing about it is, in the book versus the movie, like, in the movie, if you've already seen it, the movie, you can kind of inject yourself you can be terminal. You can be terminal. And the zombies don't. And it's more like the bacteria doesn't want the weak host body, so they don't fuck with you. No, in the book, it's everybody is getting fucked up by zombies. Like,
It's a typical zombie story.
Yeah. I mean,
the virus spreads no matter what.
but I mean, the thing I really like about the book is the government presence in it. Because it was one of the more realistic zombie books that you ever get out there and read.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, full on, like, they named government facilities where they were trying to hold up and shit. So it was really spot on with that one. I mean, and, they did incorporate some of the scenes from the book into the movie. Like, the scene with the doctor at the beginning of the movie, the scene with the doctor where he finds a Chinese kid strapped to the... Well, in this one, he's strapped to a bed, but in the book, he's strapped to, like...
a chair or something.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like...
it was a chair.
Yeah.
I remember reading that part because I read the first chapter. Okay, I remember reading the first chapter, and then, like he said, boring politics. You got to stick with it because as soon as I read that first chapter, I was just like, eh.
Yeah, you gotta fight through that.
You
book.
gotta, yeah.
I mean, they put that in there. There's one story with some random girl who's like flying a jet for what's left of the government. She's transporting like goods between like they have neighborhoods set up in the book. Like they'll set up neighborhoods, but they're not fully barricaded off, so a zombie or two might sneak through sometimes.
So it's not like Woodbury.
It's not like Woodbury, but they have watches. They have watches of the government that's still there that go through, and they'll go knock on every house. They'll go knock on your door every single night, and they have a list of how many people live in the house, and they'll make you visually come to the door, and they'll check them out to see if you're like sweating or looking sick and shit.
Kind of like it was like a fucking Woodbury mixed with The Last of Us kind of thing, where they had to like scan you and just be like, oh, this one's infected.
Yep. Yeah, I mean they ran a tight ship, but they had to. Like zombies would stumble in and then they kill them and that'd be the end of it. I mean because mainly in the book the zombies were more drawn towards where the main army force was going, like up in the eastern seaboard, western seaboard, and all up north, like all that became, and then Colorado and Texas. I know we're a main one in that. And I don't think I think some of them went up, but like the rest of them just kind of died out, kind of thing. So it was really focused on the government, which I really liked because it was more realistic and shit.
Well, they made the most noise. They had the fucking loud ass generators, obviously.
Yeah.
Keeping the lights on and everything going. I wouldn't suspect anything otherwise. I mean, zombies are attracted to noise.
Yeah, a lot of it was like it was like the life in between. Like, oh, we got this war going on, but we're staying in this little section off colony over here, this little town.
Yeah.
Kind of
or
thing.
out in the wilderness, which is one of the great reads in the book.
Are you talking about the blind man?
Not the blind man, up north where you go where it's cold. When winter happens, the zombies completely freeze.
Yeah. That's where the government starts to go up. Like, they start getting fucked up.
Like in Alaska? I wonder if
it's Canada. They go up towards Canada, like because they go from the eastern, like the main government people are going from the eastern seaboard and up, like DC, New York, and shit. They go from there up into Canada. From there,
I wonder if what was that? Extinction? Resident Evil Extinction got that idea because they were saying like something about like a city in Canada where there's no infection, whatever, and like everybody thought it was Alaska, but oh no, it's a ship the whole time. But I mean, Alaska would be the perfect spot. I mean, there's nothing but snow, mountains.
I mean, Alaska's still, and there's no such thing as a perfect spot.
It's true. I mean, we talked about this.
No such thing.
I mean, you can hold up there for a good while, but I mean, something's gonna happen.
The zombies don't kill you; the elements will.
Yeah.
If not the elements,
or
the
nature.
virus.
That too.
Oh, like the one we had to fight off in here.
Okay, so overall, I mean, well worth. I mean, I would. It's one of the movies where I would go to the theater to see it again. Like if it wasn't already out.
I mean,
if I had the chance and it wasn't already out on VHS, DVD and shit, like I would go to the theater and watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely worth at least
one trip. Yeah,
$8, $8 a person, and probably about $1.50 or $2 for a half pint each.
I knew where you were going with that one.
We did it.
John Cook. Shout out to John Cook, man. We did that shit too.
Johnny C.
Yes, sir.
Back to U&A and Lil John.
Lil John. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Walking Dead.
Are we going to talk about Walking Dead? Okay, all right. We're going to talk about Walking Dead. Okay, I just had to get my mentality straight before we even start on this one because I had to jumble everything above. All right. Last week's episode.
Yeah.
The Herschel episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it pretty much was. It was the Herschel show.
If I could have that music that played every single time, honestly, that beats the na-na-na-na to me. Like it's just like you see Herschel and it's just like I don't know. I was imitating it, but that song that played every time because he's trying to be so righteous in his eyes, but it's not working out in this kind of life. I mean, everything changed, and he's still trying to be who he was.
Yeah,
but it's not working.
It's not so much that it's not working. I believe it's that he realizes that he himself has changed. So nothing's ever the same. And I mean, he's always been the one. He's always been like Rick's kind of backbone that he needs, kind of
exactly
thing. Ever since they've met, and then you saw that in the scene when they talked through the glass.
He's the next Dale. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna point that out again, probably. But Dale was, awesome. He was the Yoda. He was the voice of reason, which I said earlier tonight when we were watching the episode. But Herschel is like the fucking voice of reason with a fucking fist, a pound of lemons, and a brick, and like just coming at you. I don't know.
What?
I don't.
A pound of lemons and a brick? No.
You're like
All that
split
would
open and the lemons hurt.
All that would do is hurt your eyes and then put you in the coma. Like
Exactly. Like he's that kind of voice of reason. He's just like, no, you're gonna sit here.
My voice of reason would be like a fucking slug to your fucking head.
I made this one crucial. I'm sorry. He's been like the bad Herschel. It was Herschel's episode for real, and he really stepped up. He really did step up. Like when Glenn was like, "Dude, you've never done this before." Never had to. He actually had to like take him into the other room and do it himself. And when he did, and Rick saw him, he was just trying to like talk to him, and Herschel was pretty much broke down.
Yeah.
At that point, he said, "I have to make sure that they don't see this shit, like, because they needed something to believe in." And
just like he used to he needed something to believe in back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why.
But
it was
his got
Herschel's
torn apart,
episode.
and he doesn't want them people to see the same thing, like to be introduced in it the way he did. Because if you all remember, Shane's crazy ass is the one who introduced him into it in a crazy ass way. He doesn't want it to be like that.
Very true.
Yeah, he doesn't want it to be like that. He doesn't want that to be their first taste of how the world really is, kind of thing. So at the same time, you can say he's being kind of foolish by not wanting trying to pull the wool over their eyes. I mean, they all know what's happening, clearly, but he doesn't want them to see it. Like, he doesn't want them to realize it. And at the same time, when you're with a group, I think sometimes that's good, but sometimes they need to. Kind of thing.
That's why Rick was talking to him about that. He said, "No, they see you.
Yeah.
They see you. They pay more attention to you than the people that are laying dead on that gurney.
Yep.
And just seeing how you're falling apart, that's what's weakening them. And just knowing that, like, this guy is here to save us at the beginning, but wow, he's just like slowly drained and done."
So now, I think at that point he has to realize, like, I have to keep this going. Like, I have to be strong, not for me, but for everybody else, kind of thing.
Right.
Even if he's like about to break down and collapse on his feet, like, I think he's the kind of person where he feels like he's going to have to step it up even more, which is pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, he did with that sawed-off shotgun.
Oh yeah,
I fucking want that shotgun! Oh my god, that gun is so badass! The handle of... not to get into it. Wet dream for tonight, I guess. Yeah, nasty. Alright, so, what did you think about it, Ghost? I mean, what about the whole Carl and Rick?
Loved it. Father-son bonding moment right there.
Definitely agree.
This is a Bill Belichick interviews over here. You get one simple fucking sentence.
I know, right? And
just like he used to he needed something to believe in back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why.
But
it was
his got
Herschel's
torn apart,
episode.
and he doesn't want them people to see the same thing, like to be introduced in it the way he did. Because if you all remember, Shane's crazy ass is the one who introduced him into it in a crazy ass way. He doesn't want it to be like that.
Very true.
Yeah, he doesn't want it to be like that. He doesn't want that to be their first taste of how the world really is, kind of thing. So at the same time, you can say he's being kind of foolish by not wanting trying to pull the wool over their eyes. I mean, they all know what's happening, clearly, but he doesn't want them to see it. Like, he doesn't want them to realize it. And at the same time, when you're with a group, I think sometimes that's good, but sometimes they need to. Kind of thing.
That's why Rick was talking to him about that. He said, "No, they see you.
Yeah.
They see you. They pay more attention to you than the people that are laying dead on that gurney.
Yep.
And just seeing how you're falling apart, that's what's weakening them. And just knowing that, like, this guy is here to save us at the beginning, but wow, he's just like slowly drained and done."
So now, I think at that point he has to realize, like, I have to keep this going. Like, I have to be strong, not for me, but for everybody else, kind of thing.
Right.
Even if he's like about to break down and collapse on his feet, like, I think he's the kind of person where he feels like he's going to have to step it up even more, which is pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, he did with that sawed-off shotgun.
Oh yeah,
I fucking want that shotgun! Oh my god, that gun is so badass! The handle, not to get into it. Wet dream for tonight, I guess. Yeah, nasty. All right. So, what did you think about it, Ghost? I mean, what about the whole Carl and Rick?
Loved it. Father-son bonding moment right there.
Definitely agree.
This is a Bill Belichick interviews over here. You get one simple fucking sentence.
I know, right?
It's an awesome scene. We needed to see that for a while.
What did you think about Rick and Carl?
You already know how I feel about it. I feel like that was what Rick, like you said, that was what Rick needed to see. He needed to see that Carl was able to be fucking an adult about it. And not only that, I think he saw a little bit more than he wanted to see. Like, he saw Carl, like, excelling in badassness than him. Like, he's like...
True.
Yeah, he's like the old dad, and, like, Carl was like the hip youngster, like, no, you can't rock your hat like I do, Dad. You can't wear it backwards. You're fucking lame. Another really weak reference, but, like, I think you understand what I'm saying. Carl took the fucking lead. I'm always like Carl. Like, I've been waiting for him to be badass. And apparently he is in the comic books, and I'm just hoping that they veer it a little bit towards that, a little bit more. As far as Carl being a fucking zombie killing fucking machine, man.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't shoot anybody today, Dad. But when he got that gun in his hand,
he's like, oh, I'm making up for time. He's like, I'm making up for it. I wonder if we can go back. I wish we could go back and just like slow down that scene and count the Carl kill count and the Rick kill count. I bet you Carl is going to be so much fucking more.
He'd be close. But the one that is going to be even closer.
No, it starts like it might be a little close, and then as soon as Rick runs out, Carl's is going to go at least like 6 ahead before Rick even gets another fucking shot off.
Let's go ahead and rewind back to where Carl would just take Shane's gun and poke at a zombie.
Yeah.
Now he's just like, they're not human. They're not pets.
Yeah. It's like, fuck them. They killed the old man. It was my fault. I think a lot of that is that part too. Mm-hmm. That's why his hatred goes towards him. He's just a lot more realistic. Like he's a lot more realistic about the world than everybody else is.
He's taking the part of Shane a little bit.
And I mean,
it's not a bad thing.
If y'all ever watched fucking DZT first season, like I was always the first person to tell you, like I really feel like in order to survive, I would become cold-hearted in the zombie apocalypse. I mean, to those that I didn't that I wasn't close to and didn't love, I wouldn't become Shane, but I would agree with him. Not as far as he went with it. Like once he started,
he went crazy.
Once he started going crazy with it, I'd have been like, "Hey, motherfucker! Like we're gonna have to check your ass because you a threat now, motherfucker!" Like you know what I mean? But I would have been more realist with it. I think is just the way I look at stuff. Because it changes you. I mean, my thing about it is like no matter how much you fight it, like Rick tried to fight it, Dale tried to fight it, and look what happened to him. Herschel tried to fight it, and Herschel's changed totally. You can't fight it. You either adapt or you die, kind of thing. True. You know what I'm saying? You either adapt or you die. So if that means having to become a more cold-hearted person, then that's what it has to be. It's all about survival and it's having something to strive for. Like it's never gonna be like, oh, I'm trying to find a safe haven. I don't want this to be the end. Right. It's valuing life and what you had before and what it can become.
Survival of the fittest. It's either eat or be eaten kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think if you know anything about me, I'm a Leo, so I ain't about to
astronomicals on there.
I ain't about to die by the hands of somebody else. Like if I die in the zombie apocalypse, it's gonna be by my own hands or another human being. Damn sure ain't about to be by no zombie.
Pardon me.
Trust that.
He gave that look. But Rick's becoming an upsetting kind of a realist.
I like how he's becoming a little bit more like, I don't think they're going to take him as crazy as he went in the comic
Well,
books.
see, he's becoming a realist, like especially with the three questions kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's
And letting go of Carol.
he's keeping everybody like subtle and just keeping everybody that's bad at a distance. Yeah, the whole Carol thing, that the took it like he's back in charge,
Yeah.
of course. But what I'm gonna get on to is not this past episode, is this episode with the governor.
Give me.
The governor.
Give me.
All right.
Go ahead, give you a little. Go ahead. You know you want to. Go ahead.
Okay. It was a pretty heartfelt.
It really was, right? Like, if you hated the governor before this episode, if you don't like him now,
You're
then,
siding with the enemy.
yeah, if you don't like him now, then you're a fucking Fairweather fan. I mean, I've always liked the governor. He's one of, like, I mean, if I like Shane,
your
I want to like the
favorite
governor.
character died, right? It was Shane. He was a psychopath. Oh wait, there's the governor. Oh
No,
another one.
if you think, Shane, I don't.
Shane had a heart and turned to a psychopath.
No, the
Governor
only
was a
reason,
psychopath and had a heart.
but the only reason Shane was my favorite character is because he
was a realist.
More action. Like, there was more action with Shane. Like, everybody did their thing, but Shane, if you fucking zombie kill counts, Shane probably led all through until he died for the zombie kill count. Like, because he was more active, and
He killed Otis.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to take on a fucking school.
His kill count is better than everybody else's.
Humans included.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the humans are like way beyond.
Governor's probably killed his kill count from when Shane died
shit.
from
Yeah,
on, because
yeah,
I mean, he's had a
never
lot
mind.
more time too.
Yeah.
He's had a lot more time to do it, but especially with his massacre at the end of season 3, you're just like,
And with him leaving everybody, that was pretty sick.
yeah. I thought it was like I was really surprised with this episode, man. How they focused on totally his story.
That was awesome.
It was. I
It was
liked
amazing.
it. I liked it. I was
amazing.
like, I kept expecting us like, okay, jump back to the prison, and they were like, nope, you're not seeing the prison.
I think we're gonna deal with this one the rest of the season. I guess the last 1 or 2 episodes before we shut off for the mid-season finale, which is "Fuck You, Walking Dead." That's a "Fuck You, Walking Dead" time. This is DZT time.
I mean, what do you think about the governor's story thing? I mean,
It was odd that he wasn't killing zombies right off the bat. He just avoided it at all cost.
yeah, I didn't think that was a little different.
Very true.
I guess that was it. Might have been like, maybe it was like an episode to show, hey, like, even the governor is human. Like, maybe him killing all those people fucked with him to where he didn't want to.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, like to where he didn't want to do it as much because
He
seemed like
prolonged it.
Yeah, he seemed like he was really torn up on the inside during this episode. So maybe it was like the kind of episode to show like the governor, even the evil guy in the story has a human side. We're going to try to make you like the evil guy,
Yeah.
even though that he has to go, kind of thing. I think that's kind of what Walking Dead went towards in that direction. That was a very good point. Very good point.
What about his little slide move? What about his little slide move, Ghost? What if he's like walking and then
Trips over the curb
That was
and
a
dodges
great
the zombie.
comical moment. It's like, I don't care about you.
perfect.
Get out.
And like he looked like a zombie himself.
Yeah. For a moment, you thought the zombie was just going to ignore him, but he just went for him. He just spiced it.
Zombie kill of the week? Would you say it's the bone?
The bone?
Or the punch?
The bone.
I wouldn't say the bone, dude, because
Or
that
the
was
punch. He punched through that. He punched through that zombie's fucking face.
that zombie was dead and old and decayed.
Yeah, he still got his hands dirty. He didn't give a fuck. He punched through that motherfucker.
I'm sorry, dude. The bone thing was awesome because you got to see every single old fucking muscle just retract backwards and
Pretty
rip
awesome.
off.
Pretty awesome.
Another thing is, like, anytime he did kill a zombie, it was aggressive as hell.
Oh yeah. Pardon that. The bathroom kill.
Yeah,
The bathtub when he.
that was
got
more
there.
of a mercy kill type thing.
That was kind of funny. Like that chick that was thirsty, very thirsty eyes. She's like, "You can have this one back." And you're just like, "Don't worry, I got this one. I found it upstairs." And she's just like,
Perfect way to describe it. That makes total sense, bro.
It was. It pretty much happened. And then, dude, I'm sorry. I don't care if, like, my best friend is sleeping on the floor kind of thing. I'm not going to sit there and just be like, right here, on the bed. And they get on the same exact bed. And he
And the little girl
paused.
was in there too.
He paused.
And she was like, no, it's okay, she's a hard sleeper. Fuck me.
Yes.
Please fuck me. That's what she was thinking.
Give me that D I haven't had in a while.
Give me that Andrea D. I want what Andrea had, damn it.
AIDS?
Zombie apocalypse virus sexually transmitted.
Don't worry.
It's the SZ13. The sexual zombie virus 13.
Don't worry. She nodded. She wasn't positive. She was HIV positive.
That's our zombie kill of the week right there. The sexual intercourse. He killed
Sexually
her.
transmitted disease.
He killed her with that. You don't realize that yet. It's coming up in a later episode. Watch out for it. Vegetation through zombification through imagination.
Horrific.
If you ever read Dead or City of the Dead, then yeah. it gets
Which
that
we
bad.
will be getting into talking about Brian King's books, City of the Dead and Dead Rising in the next two
Amazing books.
upcoming.
Yep, we're gonna split it out. First, I believe next week's will probably be The Rising,
The Rising, definitely.
and then the
for
one
sure.
after that will
Good
be
check
probably
out.
City of the Dead. Yeah, so amazing books, man. Amazing zombie stories. Totally different from what you expect. Just throwing that out there. But yeah,
Keep
you're
an
right,
open
right.
mind if you
Yeah.
do read them.
Yeah,
Very well put. That you keep an open mind.
very open minded. It's amazing books, man. Oh my goodness.
Okay, but get back to the episode. Even though it was straight up the governor's episode, like it was an awesome episode. What are you gonna think of next week's X Factor?
Next week's X Factor.
Why don't you go ahead and take it away?
That's
It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, they threatened to kill the two girls and the little girl. Who
But-
knows? What would the governor step in to stop that, or what's going to happen there?
Well, I mean, just think about it. Falls in the pit, same pit that he also engineered.
mm-hmm. I called that one, y'all. Just saying.
Very nice, yeah. The machine guns, I thought it was just music,
No.
but it was machine guns. And
I
then
call that it being his old friends that left him there.
holy shit! And then he's like, "I'm in charge now, motherfucker."
I kind of thought, like, as soon as he got up out of the hole, that the women would be dead and it'd just be him and the girl because of the shots.
I think they'd just be limping along still. But the fact that he left them was pretty outrageous.
Just to save the girl.
Oh,
You know,
it's my penny!
yeah, you know how fucking crazy he is. I mean,
Yeah.
shit.
Kind of pedophile-ish.
Dude, don't you think, man?
I'm, dude. Okay, that whole episode is just like, okay, your daughter's dead. I understand that, but even in The Last of Us, Joel did not go pedophile.
Like, eyeing her and shit.
yeah, like,
Oh, she looks like my daughter. Ellie, I mean, and Ellie looked like Joel's daughter, like,
she really did.
but he didn't go eyeing her, you know what I'm
Like
saying?
every time she came in the room, he'd be like,
yeah, man, he's just crazy. He's just crazy.
Yeah, he's just off the hook.
Yeah, he's
But-
off the chain. He off the motherfucking chain.
Now, but after that, I mean, you got to think about, him falling in back with the other crowd.
The guys who left him.
But then again, you got to think about the last episode where he was seen right out the bushes of the prison. You're just like,
Yeah.
okay, what?
Talked him back into it, man.
See, there
More
was
likely.
more than likely he took hold.
Oh yeah.
He became the governor again.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I got something to protect again.
So,
Right on track.
what's your X factor after all that? I mean, you got to think about every single thing of that.
Don't do it again. Steve.
Shit. Where the hell did they find more guys at? Let's see. That's not the X Factor, but how many more recruits did they find though?
That is a good point. I mean, there are a bunch of survivors out there.
I mean, you have to think. With that beard, he was going for
He was gone for months.
He was going from the time season 3 to season 4 started.
Yeah,
he was
like,
going that between. That was
that when they made the farm.
That was his.
much.
That was his brief overview.
Yeah.
That was his brief like introduction and how long it's been. I believe that was like probably not that long, but it was just like all that shit summed up kind of thing. I believe there's a little bit more before we actually get to current times, which they might reach in the next episode, or they might delay it a little bit. You never know.
Never know.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean,
what
we'll
it
have
is.
like maybe 2 episodes left, if that.
Yeah, before the.
Maybe it's like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Damn Super Bowl. So, just.
My X Factor.
Yeah, go ahead, take it away.
Do you have your X Factor picked out?
They're probably going to push him out of the prison this season.
Who?
The governor is probably going to push Rick.
So the governor's your X Factor for the next episode. I think my X Factor for the next episode will be, let's say, Michonne and Daryl. I think it'll be Michonne and Daryl because, like, Rabbit made a good point to me at the beginning of the episode. He talked about if I would think that, you know, in the previews we all saw Daryl punching the shit out of Rick, which we can all assume is probably for Carol's sake. And I feel like Daryl and Michonne have more of a connection than Rick and Michonne do. I really do.
You know they do because
Yeah.
they really are just
Because
like,
they've been around each other more. I believe when it comes to Carl, then clearly she's on Rick's side because it's Carl.
they're survivalists.
Yeah,
That's
that's why they get along. But I believe I'm gonna give them my 2 X factors because I think, like I said in the episode, like what if Daryl, like as a group, from what we've all like been led to believe, the group isn't going to stay together for this season, kind of thing. Like there's going to be separation, and I believe it might be what if my X factor? What if Daryl and Michonne don't like what Rick did and they decide to take a trip to Macon or go hunt the governor and leave the group?
I
Actually,
mean, isn't that what Michonne's been doing all along?
yeah.
And like I said,
She ain't made it down to Macon, of course, because if you know anything about the U.S. map, Macon is far south of fucking Atlanta, like a good 100 miles south of Atlanta.
I don't know Atlanta.
It's Georgia's the state, homie.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Just
I think
saying.
I've been out of like school for like what
Just saying.
7 years.
I mean, just saying. But it's really far south. I mean, it's really far south, so she hasn't been going there when she goes out on her little trip. She just drives. I think Governor, she never did. I mean, she could have went back to Woodbury and found him. Apparently, he drove a fucking truck through the front door. You know what I mean?
I bet
And then burned it.
the day after.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
burned it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it.
There's no trails leading off of that one though.
No.
I mean, that's probably why he did it. He was just like, "Fuck this! I'm burning my trails," and kind of just like
Disconnected
Severing.
himself. Yeah,
severing the ties. Since I'm all alone, fuck all this.
yeah.
It became the lonely man.
And now he has something to fight for again. His new penny. Just call her New Penny. New Penny.
That'd be a good one.
Do you think a sword will go through her mouth? What's your X factor?
My X Factor. Yeah, eventually, sword will go through her mouth again. I really think that's the girl that played X Factor in my book. I'm still gonna say Carol. I'm waiting for her to like come up. Like even though that it showed it in when you watch the first video, the first episode of The Walking Dead, they show what's coming up, you know, kind of scene thing. And, of course you see Daryl fucking punching the shit out of Rick. You know, like Rick has got a fucking shitload of weight on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Like, even after you talk to Herschel and everything, I'm pretty sure they had a little council meeting. But he kicked Carol to the curb, and then he also has to tell Daryl that he kicked Carol to the curb, probably get beaten by his ass, and then tell Tyrese that Carol killed his girlfriend, which he would probably get his ass beat again.
For kicking her to the curb. And
For
not
kicking
killing
her to
her.
the curb. So it's like a revolving, like, endless cycle of just like bullshit on
It's like it's a fucking shit waterfall, and Rick is the model. He's just standing under, like, fuck. I have to take all this.
But I'm really leaning towards Carol popping up. Like, that's my X factor. Is I'm waiting for her to pop up.
She's probably gonna be the next Andrea.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sorry, it's nasty.
Yeah, I don't like her.
How can you go from that to, hey, let's sleep with me next to my kid?
Hey, Governor, get in when you can. In the zombie apocalypse, let me tell you something, people. In the zombie apocalypse, if you cold-hearted, real, and you know what's up, you ain't got to worry about kids. Because the bitches probably won't survive that long anyway, you know what I'm saying? Unless they're super badass. And then, like, if you got a maggot, you don't get her pregnant. That's as simple as that. You pull out, nut on her back. That's all you got to do.
Big pirate!
Nut on her back. Or in the belly button. That's all you have to do.
Hey, the belly button's nice. Alright. Alright, guys. I think that's going to conclude our DCT of the week. Sorry for the delays. We have really shitty editing equipment, like I said, and we're just trying really hard. You know, we're trying to get this popping.
Yeah.
Well, DCT, we're here. Cheers, you goodbye. Hope you enjoyed the show.